I want to show you some of the books that I've recently acquired. I'm pretty sure you can hear Betty snoring in the background. Let's just say it's going to be ASMR in the background because I don't want to wake her up. I have some spooky books, then I have some romance, literary fiction. So let's start with the spooky reads since it's October and it's a prime time for spooky season. The first one, well, actually I have two books that are extremely similar, like the topics of the books. Let's just start with this one. It's the Penguin Books of Witches. I've already started with this book. The pages are extremely thin. They're like the Bible pages, you know, like those that are extremely thin. Also, I wear my skeleton earrings. Anyways, back to the book. I've read so many interesting things already. I love history books. In 2022, I believe, I read The Witches 1692, which is a book about the Salem witch trial. This book also heavily focuses on those Salem witch trial. The chapter I'm reading now is about witches in the Bible. This book heavily focuses on the North American witches, the ones with the early colonizers of North America. I do think that I do know a lot about this topic since I read the other book and also this one, but I also wanted to learn about European witches, and I haven't read that many books about European witches, so that's why I got this book, A History of Witchcraft, Sorcerers, Heretics and Pagans by Jeffrey B. Russell and Brooks Alexander. This book obviously also talks about the Salem witch trials. What the hell is this? But apart from the Salem witch trials, they also talk about the roots of European witchcraft. He talks about the historical origin of witchcraft and also modern witchcraft. I'm currently reading a fiction book which is Fairy Oak. It's a middle grade young adult book. It follows two witches. One of them is a white witch and the other one is a dark witch. But being a dark witch in this universe is not something bad. Then another book is one that when it came out I didn't really think too much about it, but the third book in this series came out recently and I've seen a lot of people talk about it. It's really caught my interest and it's Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I absolutely adore this cover. I always see people talk about the other, I think it's a US cover, which is also very pretty, don't get me wrong, but this one has birds. I don't know which type of birds they are, and I know the other one has a fox and then another one has a rabbit. I could be wrong about that, I don't know actually, but I just love animals, so I prefer the cover with the animals. I think this is a UK cover. Also off topic, but I have to thank whoever designed this book because the font is so good. I love font that has a good space between the lines. Font size is amazing, and also the font that is decided to choose is really good for reading. I just don't really like that nowadays books are becoming more extremely difficult to read. That's why I love reading on my Kindle. I think I read like 85% of books on my Kindle nowadays because I can adjust everything. It's true that I have my Kindle size is a 12, like the font is a 12. It's extremely big. I know, I'm aware, my mom makes fun of me, but I just like not forcing my eyes whenever I read. This is a YA fantasy romance which really focuses on the gothic mystery paranormal aspect, which is a theme that I love reading whenever it's a YA book. I always say that I love that theme, but whenever I read it in adult novels, I never really find one that I like. But with YA novels, the other one that I can think of right now is Gallant by V. Schwab. I really connect with those stories and they really grasp me. Like I'm really hooked with the stories, so that's why I think that I'm going to like this book. It's also a trilogy, which is always nice because the author really gets to expand the story and the characters and the world. Also, death is a character in the story, which another book that I've read where death is a character is the book Thief or The Invisible Life of Adi LaRue. I always say LaRue, like it's a French name. I don't remember if it's French. LaRue by V. Schwab as well. These are my 3 more spooky reads for this season. Another one is a book that is one of my most anticipated reads of this year, and it's Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I've already read this book. I bought it and I read it in like 1 day or 2, equal to Better Than the Movies. I read that book this year during March. I read in 1 day the book. I was extremely engrossed in the story. I loved it so much. That book made me really giggly and it just, I don't know, think it was like a warm hug. I always have a hard time finding romance books I like. I think I do know what type of romance books I like. One girl that I follow on Goodreads gave this book a terrible rating. She basically said that this book should be read by people that really like the first book and that you kind of lose hope with the characters and you just lose the spark that you get with the first book. So I didn't want to read it during some time, but then one day I started reading the first book and I said to myself, just go pick it up. If you don't like it, you can always return it. But I read it one day, so I didn't love it as much as the first book, obviously, but I did like it. It just felt like going back home in some ways. I already knew the characters and I loved the characters, both of them. I know they're fictional characters, but I just really like the story, and I think the second book is a great addition if you like these characters. I think this book is only for the people that really loved the first book, because otherwise you want to care for this. And then I have two books. This one I bought it today, and then this one is actually my sister's and she lent it to me today. So I'm going to talk about this book first. This is The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. She bought this book when we went to Poland this summer. We went for 10 days to Poland. Some of those days went to Warsaw. We also saw Taylor Swift in concert. And apart from that, she wanted to buy some books because I brought my Kindle with me and she didn't have any books. And she bought Everything I Know About Love by Philip Alderton because I recommended that book to her. Not that I loved that book, but I do think it's a great book to read for a woman doing her 20s, 30s. And then she also bought this book which narrates the Japanese concentration camps in the US during the Cold War. I do not know if it only narrates concentration camps or maybe something else. After the First World War, a group of young women is brought by boat from Japan to San Francisco. They are picture brides, promised an American dream, collecting photographs of the husbands they have yet to meet, imagining uncertain futures on unknown shores. This is not going to be a fun read whatsoever, but it's a period in time that I don't really know much about that history. And then today I bought this one, which is Variaciones sobre Budapest by Sergi Beiber. I'm going to Budapest at the beginning of next year, so I really wanted to buy this one. Like I said, I went to Poland this summer, and then this winter I'm going to Hungary. I wanted to have like a white Christmas. I live in Barcelona, which it does get cold, not like extremely cold, but it does get cold. And then we have snow like once every 4 years, but it's not like a white Christmas. Once a month, one of my sisters, my mom and I go to a bookstore and we buy one book that we want to read. When I saw this one that talks about Budapest, I thought it was a perfect idea because we literally bought our tickets yesterday, like our plane tickets yesterday. It talks about the history of Budapest from like the very beginning, when Hungary was just nomads and it wasn't even Hungary, to then becoming a civilization, to then to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, to then the Holocaust, to then the Soviets going there. I don't know the correct term in English, but there's this thing called El Telón de Acero, which is a big part of history, and also it's not that long ago. Like a lot of people that are alive now have lived through that. Whenever I see pictures of Budapest, I think it's an extremely beautiful city, and I think it has a lot to offer. I don't know if it's going to be snowing when we go there. I hope I can see the parks and just walk through the city and get immersed into that history. And if it's snowing and maybe we cannot be outside that much, I still think I'm going to have a great time. I also really want to visit Vienna and Prague, maybe someday. Hopefully soon. These are the books that I recently acquired for autumn. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or books that you have recently read and you love, or books that you think I'm going to like. Let me know. I'm always looking for new recommendations. I hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you very soon. Bye!